The Steelers' 20-10 win versus the Los Angeles Chargers at Acrisure Stadium. I'm Ron John. This is Steelers Therapy. Let's go through it. The Pittsburgh Steelers 3-0 on the 2024 season. Who would have thought, after going 0-3 in the preseason, from all the pundits, all the critics, here we are, Pittsburgh Steelers. They're likely in your top 10 power rankings, and they may even be in your top 5 power rankings. So how did we get here? First of all, the Pittsburgh Steelers defense is for real. They are a top 5 defensive unit in the NFL, if they're not the best defensive unit in the NFL. They have the best defensive player in the world in TJ Watt. They're deep at every position, and the secondary has been in order of magnitude better than we all thought this secondary would be. People are struggling to score on the Pittsburgh Steelers. When they do get momentum, the Steelers typically shut it out, and we saw a dominating performance of letting up -5 yards versus Los Angeles Chargers in the second half. This defense is for real. This defense can be the cornerstone of what carries this franchise to potentially its next playoff run or Super Bowl. The offense is doing its job and getting better every week. This offense is not like the offense under the last years of Ben Roethlisberger. It's certainly not the offense under Kenny Pickett. This is an offense with an identity that's sort of becoming a bully ball offense. And if you remember, I spoke about this earlier in the year. If the Steelers did indeed use Justin Fields as their primary quarterback, could we do an impression of what the Baltimore Ravens do? Playing bully ball, running down the other team's throat. Run, run, run. That is your primary objective under bully ball. You pass when you need to, you run with your quarterback, you run with your bruising backs, and you play great defensive football. You get up in the game, either in the first half or somewhere at the beginning of the second half. You let your defense pin their ears back, rush the quarterback, and you maintain that lead and continue to run the ball down their throats. This is the identity that the Steelers are forming over the 2024 season. And to be clear, it's only 3 games in, and certainly things could, will, and might change. However, the bully ball type of identity that the Steelers are putting together is one that is going to make them a formidable team to play against. This team is not necessarily built to come from behind, or at least it hasn't proven that to this point. But if the Steelers can keep games close, can run the ball well, and have a quarterback that takes care of the football, they're going to win most of the games that they play in. How will they respond if the defense slips up and they end up being down 2 scores, 3 scores? That's yet to be seen. However, we may not need to be in a situation like that. And certainly in a playoff run, you can potentially win a Super Bowl without being in a situation like that. It's unlikely. We've seen the Chiefs had to do it every single year with Patrick Mahomes, a team that's offense can take over a half or an entire game. But what I will tell you is that this team does look like it's for real. It's better than I thought that it would be, and I'm really excited to see where it's going to continue to go from here. The second thing I want to talk about is the Justin Fields, Russell Wilson controversy. You've heard a lot of people making audacious statements on what they think about Justin Fields and that he's the starting quarterback. Let me give you an analogy, my take on what is happening right now with Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. I'm not going to sit here and say Justin Fields is the QB. And if folks are saying that, they're over their ski poles. If folks are saying, oh, it's still Russ's team, then they're living in denial. For those of you who may be married, might be married like me, who has been for 13 years. For those of you that might be young, be dating, I think everybody will be able to relate to this analogy. So Justin Fields is sort of like this girl that you saw date maybe one of your buddies. And watching her from afar, yeah, she's pretty. She looks good. But you saw that their relationship was tumultuous. You saw that things didn't quite work out with your buddy. And now this girl is single. And all of a sudden you find that, you know what, hey, she's interested in going on a date. So am I. She's pretty enough. She's got enough of the fundamentals that pass my bar to go on a date with her. So you start dating her. And ultimately, she starts growing on you. You're not head over heels. You were never head over heels for this girl. She never did anything to wow you. But as you start dating her, you start finding that I kind of like this girl. The more that I'm dating this girl, the better looking she gets to me. Maybe it's her personality. Maybe it's something. But we seem to have some chemistry. And I'm enjoying going on the dates with this particular girl. But the entire time that you're sort of exploring this new dating relationship with this particular girl, you've also been approached by another girl. And this is a girl that maybe you went to high school with, maybe you went to college with, and she was the it girl. You loved her back then. She was a drop-dead knockout. She was beautiful. She had all of the things you'd want, personality, everything. And all of a sudden, this girl's become available. And she's kind of been knocking at your door, seeing how you're doing. She wants to date you as well. However, with this drop-dead knockout girl that you used to know in high school or college, you sort of saw a humongous flaming out with her significant other. Maybe she went through a messy divorce. She's also got baggage. She's got a couple kids. Wow, this was the it girl at some point. Now she's got some baggage. She's been through a couple rough relationships. In your heart, you know, oh, this is the it girl. You know, she was everything. Part of you is a little bit skeptical about her. And now she wants to date you too. And now you're sort of in this predicament. So you've got this new girl that maybe you weren't overly attracted to at first, didn't know much about, but she's growing on you. And you're actively dating her, and things are going well. And then you've got your previous huge crush from college that's finally available, but she comes with some baggage. What do? Do you start dating your old crush just to see, hey, maybe what if that chemistry's there? Or do you continue to explore something that, you know, hasn't completely knocked your or her socks off with this new girl, but the dating is trending in the right direction? The dates are nice. You're finding out more about each other. She's getting better looking. What do you do? And I'll tell you this, the girl that you have been dating, that you're finding this chemistry with, this girl is probably going to want to continue to date you. She's seeing it as well. And if for some reason you were to tell her, well, you know, I kind of just want to date this other girl. She was my old crush from college, and I just want to see if there's a spark still there. How do you think that's going to make the current girl you're dating feel? And what do you think is going to happen with the energy and rapport that you're building with this new girl? But at the same time, this used to be your huge crush, the love of your life. This old girl from college. And are you really going to pass up the opportunity to see what she can do, to see the flop, if you will? So it's a tough situation to be in. And obviously, it's the same thing as Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. And I think for the Pittsburgh Steelers, if you were to relate it to these two girls, they need to think like that. What should they do? I think at this point, we've kind of gotten to this place where there's been enough of a rapport building. There's been enough dates with this new girl. Although she wasn't your lifelong crush, she wasn't this world beater that everybody wanted. She continues to get prettier and prettier the more you date her. The more you date her, the more you feel better. The more people tell you, hey, this is the girl for you. She's beautiful, this, and this. You're feeling that energy. And I think we've reached the point of sort of no return with this girl, because if we date our lifelong crush, this girl is going to be offended. She's not going to be happy, and you may never rekindle that energy that you have. And although you still have feelings for your lifelong crush, she comes with too much baggage, she comes with too much risk, And sometimes we just need to move on and make a decision. I think the Steelers are at that point with Justin Fields where, although not our lifelong crush, we're not necessarily gaga yet. And there is risk in that we've only been on a few dates with her, but they've been good enough where in this moment that we need to really make a decision, we need to go with this new girl and see what we have. And if for some reason this new girl that we're dating goes crazy or Justin Fields goes crazy, we can always go back to our lifelong crush and see if there's a fire there that's still burning. Because ultimately, she's still going to be there regardless. And for now, while we have this good thing with this new girl, with Justin Fields, let's commit to it. Let's see it through. But we also have to remember, in new relationships, just like Justin Fields, everything's great at first. But ultimately, there's going to be bumps in the road. There's going to be some adversity. So we need to be super clear as decision makers on our love life or Pittsburgh Steelers. Are we committed to Justin Fields and really seeing this relationship through, trying to get to a point where we're going steady, where we're being serious? Or are we still in this want to have your cake and eat it too? Not going to name Justin the starter. Russ is hurt. Don't need to make a decision. At some point, the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to have to decide. Now, a few other things that I want to get to on the post-game analysis. I think the play calling in this game was the weakest part, especially on the offensive side. The number of sweeps or sweep-like outside runs that were slow developing to our slowest running back is killing us. I don't know if this is Mike Tomlin, Arthur Smith, but it needs to stop. Any person with a pulse that's reasonable and prudent can see Najee Harris is not fast. Taking somebody that's not fast and giving them a slow developing play to the outside to beat the fastest people in the NFL, i.e. corners, isn't going to work. Run Najee up the middle. If you're going to run a play to the outside, do it with somebody with some speed. This is getting ridiculous. On this same topic, Najee Harris, he's doing okay as a running back, but that's all he is okay. He's a downhill runner. They need to run him downhill, tire out the opposing defense, use a guy like Jaylen Warren to go around the outside who could also go up the middle, and maybe every once in a while sprinkle in Cordell Patterson. But I'm not crazy about the utilization of the running backs. Maybe it's because Jaylen Warren is hurt and has kind of continued to be hurt, but he is still the best back on this team. Want to see the football in his hands more. Another observation of this game is Nick Herbig is just a monster. This kid was a low draft pick. He was undersized. He came out last year with his hair on fire in preseason, showed that he could make plays in the regular season. Now we're seeing him play during his second regular season. And to be honest, he may be just as good, if not better, than Alex Highsmith. We are very deep at the rusher position. Hopefully Alex Highsmith will be okay. But as long as we have Nick Herbig, vibes are still good. Patrick Queen played better this game. Didn't play great. Would really like to see him make that interception that hit him between the numbers. But ultimately, he is playing better. However, he needs to continue to play well. I still have an APB out on Mika Fitzpatrick. He's not playing poorly, and maybe they are game planning around him, but would like to see him around the football more. Would like to see some splash plays by Minka. It's been a while since he's kind of had that dominant form. I hope this isn't part of a broader trend and that some of these splash plays are going to pick up for Minka. Hopefully, we're going to see some soon. But TJ Watt is just the best player defensively in the National Football League. They have to put two guys on him every play, chipping him, double teaming him. And the play that they don't put two guys on him, he's getting a sack. He's simply the best defensive player in the league. And it is absolutely ridiculous that he was not named Defensive Player of the Year last year. He's been the best defensive player in the league the last 4 years. Everybody knows it. As far as Calvin Austin Jr. is concerned, Really happy to see him getting involved. He's a little bit undersized. I question what type of impact he can have on this offense. However, we've seen his big playability. If you can get this guy the ball with space, you can get him to stretch the field. He can do good things for the offense. Love to see that. Now on to next week in the game in Indianapolis versus the Colts. The Pittsburgh Steelers are a better team than the Indianapolis Colts, top to bottom. And I think they know that. We know that. This is a game the Steelers should win, but this is a game that can be a trap game if you're not in the right mental and preparation state that the Steelers need to be in. The Indianapolis Colts are clear the type of game that they want to play. They want to run the football with Jonathan Taylor. They want to run it with Anthony Richardson. They want to wear you down and beat you that way, just like they did yesterday. Anthony Richardson doesn't want to throw the ball a bunch because when he does, he gets picked off. He's not a great thrower of the football. He was drafted far too high because he did so well in the combine from a measurables perspective. So this is a game the Steelers should easily be able to win and prepare for. Stop the run, commit to stopping the run both of Jonathan Taylor and Anthony Richardson. Make Richardson beat you with his arm. And inevitably, he's going to throw picks. You're going to win the turnover battle. You're going to win the game. This is not a game the Steelers should lose, but they need to keep their head on a swivel. Any given Sunday, any team can beat you. So would like to see the Steelers get to a 4-0 start and beat a team that they are supposed to beat. That'll put them 4-0, and they'll be hosting a very shaky Dallas Cowboys team at Acrisure Stadium the next week, and that's where the Pittsburgh Steelers want to be. As far as the AFC North goes, a couple things to keep in mind. The Baltimore Ravens are a good team. They're 1-2. They shouldn't have let the Dallas Cowboys come back into the game like they did. Maybe it is an indictment of their defense and that their defense is overrated. It certainly has looked like that this year. However, they are a good football team with Lamar Jackson. When the game was on the line, Lamar won it with his legs, with his arm. They've got all the pieces of being a good team. They're going to be nipping at the Steelers' heels when it comes to the AFC North record. Steelers have got to win the games that they're supposed to win, and that starts with next week. As far as the Cleveland Browns go, this is a team that they just look like a bad football team. Deshaun Watson certainly didn't lose the game yesterday. But when you look at the Cleveland Browns getting beaten by the New York Giants, who I believe are one of the worst teams in football, they were thrashed at home for the Dallas Cowboys' only win. They're ravaged by injury, and you start to question this team that was supposed to be really good and get their quarterback of the future that was their last piece. You wonder if this whole thing is crumbling down. I don't see the Cleveland Browns as a threat at all in the AFC North. And I think as the drama continues with Deshaun Watson, these sexual assault cases, I think that the quarterback position is going to continue to unravel there. And I don't think the Cleveland Browns are going to be a threat to pretty much anybody this year. Looking at the Cincinnati Bengals, they play the Washington Commanders tonight. They're 0-2 looking for their first win. I very much expect that they're going to get their first win tonight. However, it's any given Sunday. If they do lose to the Washington Commanders, it will really put the Bengals behind the 8 ball. They've got talented people and stars in this team, but they've got a lot of holes in this team. So I think the Steelers right now are in very good command of the AFC North. Really couldn't have started out better for them, given their performance and the rest of the AFC's performance. However, we know the Steelers can beat AFC North teams. What we haven't seen is the Steelers beat teams like the Bills, like the Chiefs, like the Texans, like the Eagles, like the 49ers. Those are the teams that the Steelers have got to be able to beat. And while they have the defense to do it, their offense has not been their strong suit this year. I wouldn't even call it an average offense. Still a lot of work to do for this team to show that they can outplay other teams, both with their offense and defense. Hopefully, the Steelers are going to start to reveal the ability to do that. That wraps up our post-game Week 3 analysis and 20-10 win over the Los Angeles Chargers. Look, if you haven't, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, share with your friends. Once again, I'm Ron John. This is Steelers Therapy. Until next time.